Hi guys, welcome to this session on Power BI. In this module, I'm going to cover the basics of Power BI. So I've opened Power BI Desktop, which is where you create your visualizations and reports. You then would publish those reports onto a server, a cloud-based server, for people to share and interact with your report. But in this session, I'm going to stick with the basics and just go through how to create your own little dashboard in Power BI. And I'm going to use an Excel workbook as my data source. So when you first open Power BI Desktop, you get this option here. We've got blank reports, and then you could go and get an Excel workbook, or you can just come straight from this one. So I'm going to click on this one, and then it opens up and it will let me find the file that I want, which is called raw data, that one. And then I'm just going to open that, and then it will load the spreadsheet in here. Now once it recognizes the tables, you can tick the table that you want, and then it will give you a preview here. And at this stage, if you want, you can load it straight into Power BI, or you can transform the data. I'm going to transform this data a little bit because I don't like the way this is sitting. So I'm clicking transform, and then it will open up Power Query Editor, which is exactly the same as what you get in Excel. So if you're familiar with that, you'll be familiar with this. The good thing about this, anything you do gets listed down here, and if you don't like it, you can just delete it. So this column I want to split into two. So I'm going to use the split column feature there. By delimiter, space, and then I want to break up the city with the county. So space, leftmost delimiter, that's what I want. Clicking OK to that, and then that will break that over to two separate columns. You just need to check that it has actually done that correctly, and it looks like it has. And then you can, if you right click on any of these columns, you can delete that if you don't want it. You can also delete it by clicking on this bit. You can rename this second column, so I don't want it to be location 2, I'll just call it county. And then I can rename this one because it's location 1 now. This is going to be just city. That'll do, city. There's quite a lot of different things you can do in here. I'll click on this because I want this to be a fixed decimal number. And then in Power BI, I can change that to be in pounds. So everything else looks okay. There's nothing else I need to do. This is a simple data set. What I do now is click on close and apply, and that will drop it into Power BI and let me get going with some basic visualizations. So once it loads up, you get a table over on the right there with all the columns in there named as you changed. Now you can rename this table. I'm going to call this training, just to give it some meaning, training. Now what you get in this view are these sort of fields, your data area where all the fields, your tables and your columns are listed, and you can collapse these out of the way. You get this area, which is your visualizations area, with this little tab and then this little tab to give you some formatting options. It normally starts on that one. And then you've got this filters area, which is collapsed at the moment, and you can just hide that. Over on the left hand side, you've got 4 options. Your report view, which is what we're in now. Your table view, which will show you all your tables, not just one table, but it will show you all your tables. You just basically click on different tables and it will display the information. Notice that the pound sign has come through onto that. You have a relationship area where if you've got multiple tables, you can do relationships. You can also do relationships yourself, but normally if you've got relationships in an Excel file, it will pick that up. And then you've got this DAX query view, which shows you how DAX functions can be and where they would be. So I'm going back onto the reports area. As with all Microsoft stuff, you have a ribbon across the top with lots of tools on it. Insert, modeling, view, change the different layouts there, optimize the whole thing, and then help. I'll leave it on home as it was on. But this is a really simple tool to use. So to create some simple visualizations, you click on what you want. So I'll click on a chart. So it's come up there. So that's a stacked column chart. I'll go for just a clustered column chart. And then you just tick what you want. So if I go company, like so, it should list all the companies down there. And then I can tick revenue, and it'll give me the revenue for that company in a chart, like so. Now if I click off of that visualization and get myself a little table, and let's go for county, which was a field that I created, and go revenue, that'll do the revenue by county. Now if I click any of these, this is the power of BI. When I click these, it filters everything on this page, will be filtered to represent what you've got there. You can just click off that and it will bring everything back on. Now if I go for a different visualization, you've got these sort of features here, which is a card, and then click on a card. 1, 2, 3. You can tick revenue on that and it will give you the total sum of all the revenue. Make it a little bit smaller, so you move that over there. So that figure there is the same as that figure there. And again, this will be triggered by anything you select, like so, and you can select away from it, like so. Now, while we're looking at this chart, if you don't like the layout of this chart, you can come across to this side and click on this tool, format the visualization, and you have lots of different things there that you can do. For example, columns, if you want the labels over that. If I go to columns, under that section, first of all, you can change the color of it. If you don't like the color, go for that one. And further down, you have data labels, and you can just tick that on. If I open it up, you can see the different settings for the labels. Close that off. This option there gives you some more features that you can maybe add extra things in your chart. So I'll go back to the first screen. So you've got these visualizations. Click off everything so you've got nothing selected. The other things that you've got over here that are quite useful with this set of data is the matrix. If you click on matrix, it will give you a grid that you can just move up there. And for example, let's say you want to do it by county and then company across the top, and then you click in on revenue, it will give you the breakdown like so. You might want to change that the other way around, tick it the other way around, so you're doing company at the top, county across this, or company down the side, county across the top. Or you might want to not do company but do city, and then that gives you the breakdown like so. So that's just a matrix view of your information. Now you might want to color this up a little bit. You can click on any of these visuals, any of them, and color them up individually. But you're basically using these set of tools over here. So if I go into this format your visual tool, it will give you some options here. You've got visual at the top and general. So this is just a couple of bits and bobs. But if you go to general, one of the things you've got in here is effects. And in effects, you can do the background, for example, make it consistent. And then this one, I mean, this visual is taking up quite a bit of space, so you can break that a bit smaller. and then do a similar sort of thing on that one. So you've got standard colors on all your visuals, like so. Now, I'm not saying these are great. So now they all come back. So you see the white area in the middle is sitting on this little bit there. You can also, this is called a canvas. You can also put an image or change the color to the canvas itself. If I go onto this, you've got canvas background as options there, and it's got a picture already in there. If I take that picture off and just browse for another one, I'll go for Scots Greys charging at Waterloo, but you can't actually see them. I need it to fit, and I need the transparency to come back over to this side so we can actually see it. Now, obviously that's not relevant to this sort of data, but that's some of the features that you can utilize if you so wish. Obviously you're going to have to adjust your visualizations a little bit to get the benefit of that picture. But this wouldn't really work with sales data, but it looks good, like so. So if this was a Power BI about the Battle of Waterloo and these were casualty figures, that would then be relevant. So I just wanted to show you that you've got these tools at the top here where you can almost format anything, get it to be see-through in the effect options. You've got this transparency. I don't even know what I'm clicked on there on the graph. So that's made the graph transparent, which is not great. Can't see it. So you probably want to come back a little bit like that. You can click on this. You've got the transparency there, and then that sees through on that bit. And then you've got all the rest of it you can play around with. But that's all I want to cover on this little session. How you can create simple visuals for your report and how you can format them to get the best out of Power BI. So hopefully this video has been of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.